Here she is. Is that Sedona Red, by the way, that you are sporting today?
It could be.
It
It's a
could
little
be.
light for Sedona Red, but let's go with Sedona
Let's
Red.
just go with Sedona Red. Jody Jackson is with us for a few minutes. Brought to you by Shamrock Farms and Rock and Protein. I bring this up because I'm going to focus a lot on the Diamondbacks because that is the story here in the Valley. I have to know, take the listener, the viewer down into the dugout. Is there a different feel or is this just still a bunch of dudes playing baseball?
I mean, it's a bunch of young dudes that some have been in the spot before and some have not. And they've just reemerged from who they were. It's literally like a makeover, right? But unintended. You lost assets, you lost some talent, you lost some people in there that were great people, and you've reemerged as this different group. And it's this energetic, fun brand of like, hey, we're going to take our shot. We're going to play free. A lot of times it's working. Occasionally it won't. We've seen some aggressive base running, but no, I mean, I think Blaze Alexander is kind of the poster boy for the fun
Yes.
energy,
Yes.
but he's not the only one. And, yesterday it was kind of cool to see two young guys get their home, Jorge Barosa, who a lot of people look at him and think he can't hit a home run. Well, by the way, all the small statured guys on this Diamondbacks team can and do hit homers, but Jorge is he's almost Altuve size, right? Like he's pretty small. He hit a homer, Tim Tawa hit a homer, and man, it's like take your pick of what was your favorite moment? Was it Corbin Carroll becoming the first D-back to go 30-30? I mean, that's kind of an obvious one. Was it Eduardo Rodriguez, the older veteran
Yes.
guy? Was it Barosa's homer? What was it? I mean, there's so many moments that this team has been able to generate. So, yeah, the dugout's always alive. I mean, to be honest, it was alive before. It's just a little bit different now. It's guys that are like Philip Abner comes in, strikes out Kyle Schwarber.
Right.
I think he probably thought he could do that. We were maybe more skeptical. I met him the other day, and it's like, who is this guy and what is he doing? So that's the kind of vibe that is going on right now.
I like the silent treatment of Barossa, by the way.
It's a great
It's
tradition, right?
right. No, you stole my thunder. That's why you're Jody Jackson. That's why you're Jody bleeping Jackson because you steal my thunder
I didn't mean
when
to steal your
no,
question. Come
it's
on.
fine. It was my thought. I thought I was the only one that was brilliant enough to say, this is like a Blaze Alexander team or like a Cam Scattaboo throwback dude that just likes to play ball that doesn't care about, clicks, impressions, spotlight, jersey sales, showing up in the tabloids. There's no tabloids in Phoenix, but like Cam in New York City. The comparison to those two, I'm watching them both on Sunday saying, oh my gosh, I need more of this in sports, Jody.
Yeah, yeah. When Blaze and I just cracks me up like Blaze and Perdomo and Lawler, when they jump up to like celebrate, I just don't want them to like hit each other too hard. They're almost playing football out there. That's how much fun they're having, right? They're jumping in the air, they're bouncing off of each other, and no, it's really cool to see. So it's yeah, I mean, no one, again, Brad, when you do things that people don't expect,
Right.
that's where, and you're kind of just lying in wait. You're kind of just
Yes.
playing, seeing what's going to happen. You're just watching slowly as Zach Gallen is getting better and Eduardo Rodriguez gets better. And it's crazy. And guess what, though, now? This game, which can be so beautiful and so cruel, you have to continue to do it now for 6 more games. And you really have to play free and not feel pressure and yet know that the pressure kind of is high, right? Like it's not a pressure like, oh my God, you have to make it or bust, right? It's just like an intensity of like, now that we've come this far, we have to cash in, right? So
Sure.
can they do it? It's going to be against the best. It's literally going to be against Shohei Ohtani pitching at Chase Field on Tuesday. And of course, hitting. It's too bad that when he pitches, maybe he could just not hit.
But but
Uh,
it's like Brandon Pfaadt's last outing was as good as we've seen out of Brandon Pfaadt. Okay, and I would say this season the wins and losses say that he's had a good year. Okay, I think he's had a decent year.
He's
Right?
had some rough ones. Yeah, he's had some rough
Yeah,
ones that we thought maybe, okay, he's past this and he's been rough. So
yeah. So tomorrow night, here he is following up a tremendous start is he going to be able to follow it up where the eyeballs of the country in sports, in baseball in particular, are going to be focused on the other dude, Shohei Ohtani, and you're a game out of the wild card race? Like, this is really a spot for Brandon Pfaadt. And he's been in postseason before, and I think he's a number one someday. Someday. Is it this week where he and Zach Gallen are 1-1A? Kind of like Corbin Burns was supposed to be. That's kind of how I'm looking at this deal, Jody.
I mean, you can. I mean, I even look back, and this is a bad memory, but I look back to the last week of the season last year,
Yep.
and he had a really bad outing, and Zach Gallen had to come and restore order the next day. And I think he'll, is he going to think of that? I mean, I'm not going to bring it up, but
Are you working the games?
yes, I'm covering these three against the Dodgers. I'm looking for it. It's
Wow.
going to be nuts. It's going to be, it always is crazy energy anyway when the Dodgers are there. And then
Yeah.
you add this element to it, like the D-backs have to win. They need to win most of these games. They're going to be scoreboard watching. The fans will be scoreboard watching. And, I just think they have to, and why was that outing bad last year? I don't know. Was it the pressure? I hope not. I mean, I don't think so. Last year, everyone talked about the final week being that Sunday in Milwaukee being this carryover downer. I don't even know if that was it, honestly. Like, I think that they just blew it. Like, they had a bullpen blow up on the Sunday, the second to last Sunday before the season ended. I actually think that it was just that they didn't pitch very well and they didn't play very well in the next games. And it was the Giants and the Padres. It's always going to be the division, right? And these teams that
Sure.
I think someone was telling me like the Nats and the White Sox like play each other like that. If you're a notoriously bad team, like you're gonna be end up playing like some random team the final week. If you're the D-backs who have been very relevant, like you're gonna be playing your division rivals. And these games are so important. So and then it's Ohtani, it's Snell, it's Yamamoto.
Yep.
They're throwing their best guys out there, and then the Padres series in San Diego will be hopefully if they do their job here, if they win the series or then it's going to be really interesting in San Diego too. But yeah, are you going to come out? You should come out,
I should come out.
come on
I,
out and
I've,
help us cheer on the team
I
and
sit in the press. I want to sit in stands. I don't want
yeah,
to
well,
sit in
I'm
that
not
hermetically sealed press box
technically
where
I'm not
it's,
cheering, but
well, you
you
have to.
gotta
Look, you're objective, but the deal is you're in the midst of a great story. I could ask you, I could be that guy that said, well, Jody, imagine if they would have had a bullpen this year that didn't come out with gas cannon matches for a lot of nights. How many games up would they be in the entire division? They'd probably have the best record in the National League, and I'm not kidding. But I'm not going to
well,
do that.
here's the funny thing though, Brad, about that. Like last year, everyone was pointing to that Milwaukee game on September, 21st, whatever it was. This year, I mean, you can point to there's so many, you can't even count them. I mean, there's so
It's
many
just,
that got away or whatever. Most of them bullpen, like I remember sitting at Wrigley, we scored 10, the D-backs scored 10 runs
yep,
sitting in that dugout, or next to the dugout, and then they lose that game. So, I mean, there were 4 or 5 of those, maybe more. There was the 1-0 the other day, which is so rare. It's so rare that that happens. I have a hard time hanging this season on the offense didn't do their job one day
yeah,
because
yeah,
the offense does their job most days. But going to be a lot of fun. Really excited to get to this week's action.
yeah. It'll be fun. What do you think about the Cardinals? What can you say about the Cardinals today?
Really disappointed. I mean, they had a great chance. They had every opportunity there to go 3-0, which 3-0 is no joke. You can get
Sure.
on a division opponent, win that game in San Francisco. They don't have Purdy. They don't Purdy to me. I don't need to tell you. I think he's a special guy. Apparently, Mac Jones was special enough to get it done the other day. I mean, they're a solid organization, solid team. I mean, the Cardinals have done a great job with this defense, and that was one of the things that crossed my mind. Just narratives. I won't break down like every little thing here, but the general sentiment. You've spent money and you've improved the defense. You have Josh Sweat, Calais Campbell out there doing what they're doing, and the offense can't get 2 first downs to end this. And to me, it's not on Kyler Murray. Yesterday, it was on the wide receivers not catching balls. We saw it time and time again. I know they lost.
Marvin Harrison Jr. looked like he was going to cry in the locker room. I saw
Yeah,
a clip of him. He just
here's
looked
the good thing.
devastated.
And look, I'll be very transparent here. My son and Connor, he's a quarterback, and we watch a lot of football, and I've watched obviously many more years of football than he has. But There's something that quarterbacks do and offenses do to get guys, and I'm on board with this. Have Marvin Harrison catch some easy plays early in a game.
Get him in
I've
a
seen it
game.
so many times. I saw it on Saturday. Teams get hot. When you
Yep.
have a hot quarterback and a hot receiver, when you certain guys, um, it's not so much about the quarterback, but when you can get your receivers involved early or the running backs or whoever, get it going with easy or high percentage plays. I feel like Marvin a lot of times is in these desperate situations and he's not coming up clutch. So maybe run some of these shorter routes, run some of these isolations, get him going, get him hot a little bit. I know it's the Rams game is the one to point to last year that happened, but I just don't think that there's a lot right now for him in these moments that he doesn't look confident.
No, he
It
doesn't
leaves us
sound
wondering,
confident.
yeah, it leaves us wondering, is he running the right routes? Is he in the right place? Is he? And then you're wondering, is it on him? Is it on Kyler? Is it on Drew Petzing? What's going on? Zay Jones has to catch the ball. I mean, really, Kyler yesterday he did get saved on the could have been safety, but
Yes.
that didn't happen. So we'll take that off the board. It could have been another sort of boneheaded moment trying to throw the ball away. But you got to catch the ball, and receivers. We talk about receivers are a dependent group of people. I mean, the quarterback, I feel like I've heard that narrative through the years, and that's true. They are dependent on the quarterback, but the quarterback is also dependent on the receivers making the plays that they have to make.
Well, okay. So you have Seattle here on Thursday. It's a short week. You lose James Conner. That's a bummer. Here's a guy that is well regarded, well respected, runs with authority. This whole deal about next man up, Trey Benson, I'm sorry, he's fine enough, but he's not James Conner. So let's just stop with the next man up. Yeah, somebody's got to get out there. But Seattle comes in here and they look really good. They do. And I don't feel good about this Thursday at all. It's a home game.
Well, they've been running the ball well. They obviously, demolished the Saints.
Yep.
They have I remember, one of the things you got to look out for on defense is one of the many Leonard Williams. You've got a lot of guys that can wreck a game there on their defense. Let's start with their defense first. So the offensive line has got to do a great job this week. And, I don't think they've been horrible. I think they could have been better. I think were not as good as I thought they could have been
They've
against
been meh,
Carolina. Yeah,
meh.
they need to come up with a big performance. And
Yep.
then Kyler had some, good moments yesterday, and he's got it. And the other thing is, if it takes targeting Trey McBride double-digit times, let's do that. Like whatever you have to do, you've got to do it because you don't have a group of reliable pass catchers. You just don't. You might think you do on paper, you might see it in practice. It's not happening in the games. So, whether it's McBride, they're going to have to, maybe it's Michael Carter coming up. I understand that's not going to solve everything, but I have liked what I've seen from limited action from Michael Carter. It's, the James Conner injury is horrible. It was horrible to see.
Yep.
I think we all agree that can be, really difficult to overcome, but I think they can do it. I think they have other guys that can come in and they can they're going to have to switch the offense up a bit, but already he was getting less carries this year. So if you're just, it's horrible, but if you're looking for a silver lining, it's that, hey, you were kind of relying on Trey Benson more. So we'll see what happens, but you're right. They have to get right quickly. These are Thursday night games. I heard AQ Shipley talking yesterday after the game on the radio about it can be easier because you're cutting back the playbook and you're keeping it simple. That sounds great as long as you can go out and execute it. And a lot of times that means pounding the ball on the ground.
Sure.
So hopefully that happens.
That is a smiling Jody Jackson in her somewhat Sedona red about the Diamondbacks. And I'd say Cardinal red too. So fair enough on a Monday. Thanks.
Thanks, Brad.
And we're back with more after this timeout.